Are we good? Are we good now? Uh-oh. It says I'm streaming, but I don't see it on the thingy. There we go. Okay, well, if you missed the first little bit, it is being recorded. It is part of the Commander Cookout Live podcast feed, if you will. So we are live. We are ready. We are looking at previews today. We're going to look at some stuff that we were correct about. We're going to look at some stuff that we were, I guess, incorrect about. Sure. And going to have a ton of fun. So I'm just bringing up the chat here. I'm making sure. I'm going to give everybody just a touch to get in and to be part of it and be all included. I put it out on the Discord, put it out on Twitter. If you're new, if this is your first one, this live stream will be live or will be included on the Commander Cookout podcast feed either on Wednesday or Friday of next week. So in 5 days or 7 days from now, it will be live again. I apologize for everybody who has a life and doesn't want to be part of a live stream on frickin' Friday at 9 p.m. Central. But that's the only time I have. And that's why I want to put it out on the podcast feed later. And if you're tuning in later, welcome. Hit subscribe. Everything is ready to go. We've got super chats open. If you want me to for sure see your chat message, you can do a super chat. Patreon.com/CCO podcast. Big thanks to Fusion Gaming Online.com, your source for all your gaming needs. They are a wonderful store to go to if you're in Winnipeg, Canada. FusionGamingOnline.com if you want to go and get a discount on your Magic product, gaming supplies, whatever it is. CCO Summer, new promo code. I'll mention that because that's a new promo code, and it's very important that you use it to get a discount. Very good. Very good. Now, I have up here, I'm going to get me some Scryfall up here, and we're going to look at some. Ooh, here we go. Magic, The Gathering, Lord of the Rings, Tales from Middle-earth previews. We've got them up. I think I'm pretty much in the middle of the screen here, and I had a couple suggestions of cards that I think that people would want to see. I'm just getting my screens organized here. I'm on my laptop, so I only got one screen. Benjamin! CCO stickers arrived today. Made my day a bit better. You know what? CCO stickers make my day better every day that I see them. Which is every day. Because they're stuck to the back of this laptop that I'm using right now. So awesome. You can get them at commandercookout.com. Or if you become a patron, I'll send you some for free, no charge. What? Simple Sandcastle, what up? Big ups from Ontario. Yeah, well, are you at face-to-face games Toronto this weekend, right? 234 or 345? Mother ass, there's a fly in here. It's so hot out where I live right now. It's so hot out. And we got like severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado watch like every day because it's so hot. And the flies, hey? The flies. Usually we don't get them until about July, but there's one in here. So if you see it buzzing around, you should be watching on YouTube. Simple Sandcastle, you'll be there. Awesome. It's going to be a great time. If you see Kelly from Face to Face Games, he is the head organizer for Face to Face Games events. He's got like the full brim like Indiana Jones hat. Great guy. You should tell him that Ryan and Brando from Commander Cookout told you I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be the guy. I'm gonna do the thing. The boys at CCO made you go there. You should tell him that. He's a good friend. He's a good friend. He'll find it funny. He'll welcome you with open arms for sure. So, anyways, here we are. We have got some previews. We've got 249 cards. Now, that kind of is a misnomer because we've got like the full art version and the regular version. Like you can see right on the screen now is Press the Enemy in both expanded art and regular art versions. Gimli, Counter of Kills with the Showcase Ring version and regular art version. I'm pretty sure that Scryfall counts those as two different cards. So I don't think we've got 249 cards yet. You certainly don't have the Commander Cookout previews yet. Those are going to be June 5th, so tune in. They're going to be on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere that you get our content, and of course on the podcast feed, which doesn't allow you to see them, but they'll be there. So I am very much ready to take any request as to what card we should talk about. I'm just reading the comments here. Kelly, got it. Yep. He'll like the sticker, trust me. I think he's probably seen them. I'm ready to talk about any request that comes in as far as the character, whether the abilities match the character as per the novel or the movie, or the differences between the novel and the movie and the card. Today is all about the previews, and I'm sure that next week is going to be all about the previews as well. Some of the previews are in not English, which this stream is in. There will be a translation, or I can get the translation from the Commander Cookout Discord, which is a benefit of becoming a patron if you want to pledge if you're not already a patron. I'm going to crack this beer, and then I'm going to find some of the ones that maybe I want to talk about while I'm waiting for suggestions to come in. I'm getting TikTok notifications and memes from my friends that also like Lord of the Rings. It's fantastic. And just so you know, top of the ninth, Blue Jays over the Mets 3-0. Just throwing that out there. Not that I want to jinx it or nothing. So here, let's go to this one. First up, this is Gwaihir the Windlord. This is the Lord of the Eagles, let's call him. And blue-white, which is appropriate because not only does that fit into Magic's umbrella of birds, it blue is flying, white is I think very loosely supposed to represent good or wholesomeness in Magic, right? I can say that, right? And Gwaihir the Windlord is exactly what I would have called him, and I don't want to say that I called it on a previous show, but I think that I did. If I didn't call it on a previous show or a previous stream, I think Brando and I were talking, and I said that Gwaihir the Windlord is going to be the name of the card. So I'm happy that even if just personally or privately that I did call that. And I love this art, first of all. Who did it? Let's see here. Axel Sarwald? Good job, Axel. Fantastic name, too. Come on. I love the perspective. I don't 100% know what's going on there. I think that in the background behind the spread of his two wings, is that Orthanc? I think that's the Tower of Orthanc. I think. It looks like there's an arrow that's shooting up, or a couple arrows that are shooting up. And he's got that little crown on him. I'm not sure what that's about. Like that, is that supposed to represent that he's the king of eagles? Like we don't know that in his epitaph of Wind Lord. Is he the Lord of the Wind, or is he the Lord of Eagles? That doesn't really tell us very much, but I love the art. I like their perspective. The tower or whatever's behind him is obviously tall because we're seeing a down shot of him. And we can't see the ground. We see clouds below him, which I think is fantastic. So anyways, This spell costs 2 less to cast if you've drawn 2 or more cards this turn. Oh, okay. So he costs 4 if we've drawn 2 cards, which we might have, which is cool. We might have, right? We could cast a Brainstorm or a Ponder or a Preordain or something and draw like a second or third or fourth, fifth card that turn. And we spend 1 mana to do that, but we're getting a 2 mana discount on Gwai here, which really only makes him cost 5, and we draw a card. I think that's good. I think a 4/4 flying vigilance for 5 is a fine cost with an extra ability that says other birds you control have vigilance. Excellent. This is maybe in addition to Kanji or Kangi, Airy Keeper, or the new Kanji from whatever Dominaria set, this is a good bird commander. Fantastic. So, and he's Gwai here. He saves Gandalf at least 2 times. At least twice. And he saves Frodo at least once. So, Gwai here comes and rescues Gandalf from the top of Orthanc, which I don't think that we can see Gandalf at the top, like riding on his back or nothing. I don't think we can see that. But he saves Gandalf from Orthanc. And then he saves him again after he fights the Balrog. And then he saves Frodo and Sam with the other 2 eagles. We'll talk about them in a minute. Saves them from Mordor after they destroy the ring. Spoiler alert, I guess. So those other 2 eagles have also been previewed. They're uncommons. We're just going to find them real quick. I'm going to scroll through real quick here. They are... Ooh, not included. Hey, where are they? Mother ass. Gwaihir, Landrovel, and... I'm going to have to think real hard. Gwaihir, Landrovel, and I'm looking it up in the CCO preview Discord. Gwaihir, Landrovel, man, if somebody gets it before me in the comments. Maneldor, Swift Savior. Those are them. So Scryfall have them. I'm not going to go into it real close on Gwaihir on Landrovel and Maneldor. I'm not going to go into it real quick or real in depth. But let's see here. Who's in the comments? What's the next one that we're looking at? Man, after I find the comments again. Barrowblade. Okay, Barrowblade. Sorry, I only got one screen, so I'm scrolling through a lot of windows that are reduced down in size. Rob says Barrowblade. We're going to talk about the Barrowblade. Okay. Simple Sandcastle as a movie watcher only. Cool. I like movie watchers only because the opportunity to give them or to discuss so much more depth and meaning and just open doors and give kind of that moment of epiphany where it's like, oh man, I had no idea is so very much there, which is awesome. So as a movie watcher only, I didn't know the Eagles were named. Yes, very much they have names. They're actually their own race. And the Eagles, the race of the giant eagles, the race of the Eagles is actually subservient to, and I'm not 100% sure. I don't think that they're spirits or Maiar like Gandalf and Saruman or Goldberry or whatever. I don't think that they're spirits, but they're very much subservient to the Valar, the Lord of the... Oh, man, how frick, blanking on his name. The Lord of the Wind. Manwë. Oh, the easiest one too. Manwë. They're like direct reports to Manwë, who is the Lord of the Wind. This is the Zeus equivalent of the Manwë, or the Zeus equivalent of the Valar, right? And a little bit embarrassed that I didn't think of that right away. I was cycling through all of the other ones that were flowing through me from ear to ear. But the eagles very much have names, and they very much are characters, and they very much are not a taxi service. And that's what's important to remember when you say, well, why didn't the Fellowship just take the eagles? Because they're not a taxi service, and they do act as representatives of the Valar, in particular, the king of the Valar, Manwë, and they are essentially subservient to him and act on his behest. And they're not just anybody who can be called, you can't just book a Eagle Uber, right? Because they are their own people. So very important to recognize that that's true. And I think that it's fantastic that not only did Gwaihir get a card, but the other two named eagles in the Lord of the Rings got a card. I think that's important that happened. Okay, here, let's see. Barrowblade. I think we're going to Barrowblade. Okay, let's find it. It was previewed today, right? There it is. Barrowblade. So what do we want to know? So the Barrowblade, I'm seeing more comments come in. So yeah, that was a huge favor for Gandalf to pull. Yes, it was. It was very much so. And stepping outside of the story real quick and looking at it from more of a meta perspective, Gandalf is the character. It seems as though when you read The Lord of the Rings, or when you read it several times, Gandalf is the character that when he makes a decision, or when he says stuff, or when he does things that affect other characters in the story, Gandalf is one of the prime drivers or movers of the story, and his decisions influence or impact the direction that characters take, or the direction that the story goes. What he says is, or what he says becomes, or what he says makes other people think or do. Gandalf is one of the prime movers of the story. And for him to have assistance from Gwaihir and Landorvel and Meneldor, for him to say, hey, yo, we got to do this. Let's go find Frodo and Sam. Let's go do it. Third time pays for all is I think, nearly his line from the book. When he asks Gwaihir, hey, give me your fastest guys, let's go save these hobbits that just like saved the world, right? Because Gandalf by that time was right. He was correct. And he put all of these plans in motion. Frodo, the Ring, the Fellowship, the final battle where the army marched from Minas Tirith to the Black Gate. He put all of those plans in motion and said, hey, let's do this. Let's do all these things. And look what happened. The ring got destroyed and it saved the world. And not only is Gandalf the prime mover in a lot of what happens in the story, but that moment when the ring is destroyed is the justification or the vindication of Gandalf as the antithesis or the opposition to Sauron. If Sauron is the main big baddie in the story in The Lord of the Rings, Gandalf is justified as his opposition when the ring is destroyed, because he's the prime mover in all the things that lead to the ring getting destroyed. I didn't even mention, like, influencing or educating Faramir throughout his life, and Faramir not being affected by the ring as a result of Gandalf's influence. Didn't even include that one. Oh, man. Right? And like, people want to say Aragorn is the opposite of Sauron, or the card Frodo, Sauron's Bane, sounds like Frodo is the main opposition to Sauron, but it's actually Gandalf, right? And it's that idea, I guess, is supported by them both being Maiar, or like sub or semi-angelic beings, or semi-divine beings, right? Sauron and Gandalf are of the same order of spiritual being. Like they are the opposite, the mirror image of each other. One represents light and goodness and divinity and everything that's good, and he's Gandalf the White. White is the purest form of light, and light in Middle Earth, in Arda, in Tolkien's Legendarium, is holy. Light is the ultimate source of good. And Sauron is the opposite. He represents darkness and evil, the absence of light, right? So all these things are Gandalf versus Sauron. And I think so far the cards have done a good job in showcasing that. I want to keep this as Magic the Gathering centric as I can, but I find myself going into rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole. So, anyways, the Barrow Blade. What do we want to talk about the Barrow Blade? Okay, so I see like mother ass. Okay, I'm looking at Shadowfax. I'm Bill Fernie, Barrow Blade. How does the Barrow Blade match the books? Okay, here we go. Okay, the Barrow Blade the issue I run into as doing this live and having these comments come in live is there are some people who are watching that only have seen the films, which is totally fine, justifiable, and they are an excellent representation of the story. And fantastic movies also. What you don't see in the films is the swords that Merry and Pippin and Frodo and Sam get come from the Barrow Downs. So the Barrow Downs are essentially like a bunch of tombs where there's dead guys from like 1,000 years ago are buried with treasures and stuff from the kingdom of Arnor that split into 3 different kingdoms that all had like civil strife and civil war between the 3 kingdoms of Arnor. And it led to war over like 400 years. And some of the people that died in that war were, of course, royalty. They got buried in these barrows or these tombs. And Frodo and Merry and Pippin and Sam get trapped in one. They get suckered in at night by a Barrow Wight, like a ghost, and they get trapped and they're going to die. And Tom Bombadil saves them. And if you haven't read the book, you're going to be totally lost because you also don't know who Tom Bombadil is. But anyways, Tom Bombadil saves them, and when they get out, they get their clothes on because they were naked, FYI. And they get these swords. And these swords come from the Kingdom of Arnor, and they're inscribed with let's say they're inscribed with spells that are supposed to hurt the Witch King or hurt the Nazgul. So they get these. And fast forward like 1,200 pages in the book or 1,000 pages in the book, Merry in the Battle of Pelennor Fields stabs the Witch King in the back of his mighty knee and breaks the spell that makes him the Witch King, so Éowyn can deliver her killing blow and stab him in the face. And that's how they kill him. And that's like a major prophecy fulfilled from, thousands of years ago, or 1,000 and some years ago. And it's a big deal. In the movie, in the films, they're on Weathertop, and Aragorn like throws Frodo and Sam and Merry and Pippin these swords and says, hey, you might need these. And they just randomly have these swords now, right? And then they cook like nice crispy bacon. And Frodo's like, what are you doing? And he stamps it out, and then the Nazgul come and stab Frodo, right? So now we're all on the same page now, hopefully, I hope. So the barrow blade, how does it... What's the question? How does the barrow blade match the books? So it's an equipment. It's a sword. That's one. It's a leaf-shaped blade, which is another. That's the shape of that blade. Narrower, closer to the hilt or the tang. The tang is the piece of metal inside the handle, and the hilt is the guard that protects your hand, I guess. It's narrower, closer to the tang, leaf-shaped blade. That is accurate. Sting looks like that in the movies. Glamdring looks like that in the movies. I want to say that that's an elvish design. Leaves, elves, makes sense. The Western-S blades were written or inscribed with runes. And this one looks like it's inscribed with something or has very intricate folded steel to make red and yellow and blue waves on it. We're going to call that a written Western-S blade. We're going to call it that. Now, whenever it gives equipped creature +1/+1, sure. So it's a 1-drop, equips for 1, gives +1/+1. That's actually pretty good, isn't it? 1 and 1, so you're given +1/+1 for 2 mana and a card. That's pretty good. Whenever equipped creature blocks or becomes blocked by a creature, so if it's blocking or attacking, the creature that it's interacting with loses all abilities until end of turn. So, I took a little bit of time and talked about Merry stabbing the Witch King in the back of his mighty knee with the written blade of Western-S, and the exact reason that that blade was created was to help with the downfall or kill the Witch King. And the Witch King, if we want to translate it into magic terms, the Witch King had some magic done onto him to make it so he can't die. The Witch King is indestructible until this blade blocks or becomes blocked by him, and then he loses all abilities, including indestructibility. Now, let's just look really quick here. Where is the Witch King? It's going to be fantastic if he has indestructible. Here he is. Witch King, Bringer of Ruin. He's got flying, sure. So he would be blocking us. We can't block him with, like, Merry Brandybuck. Whenever Witch King, Bringer of Ruin attacks defending player, sacrifices a creature with the least power among creatures you control. Okay, fine. Is there another Witch King? Because there might be. Is there another Witch King? Because some cards have multiple. This is the same one, right? 5/3. Whenever one or more creatures deal combat damage to you, each opponent sacrifices a creature that dealt combat damage to you this turn. Is this a different card? Witch King of Angmar. And the other one is Witch King, Bringer of Ruin. Okay, so the Witch King of Angmar. This is the one that we should be looking at. Here's his regular print. Okay. 5/3 flyer for 5. Whenever one or more creatures deal combat damage to you, as the controller of the Witch King, each opponent sacrifices a creature that dealt combat damage to you this turn. So that's like No Mercy, the card, the enchantment from Urza's Saga, right? Now, you can discard a card. Witch King of Angmar gains indestructible until end of turn and tap it. That's essentially regenerate, so he can't die. That is fantastic because the Barrow Blade would make him lose his discard a card ability. And if you discarded a card pre-combat to make him indestructible and tap him, or if you attacked with him and then before combat damage or before blockers, discard a card to make him indestructible. It doesn't matter if you tap him because he's already attacking. If you block him with the Barrow Blade and can deal 3 damage to him, he loses indestructible and he dies. That is fantastic because the Barrow Blade, in that exact situation, whenever equipped creature blocks or becomes blocked by a creature, that creature loses all abilities until end of turn. So he either won't be able to regenerate or will lose indestructible. So Barrow Blade checks out. Checks out. Man, that makes me so happy. Now, here's the thing though. Whenever equipped creature blocks or becomes blocked by a creature, that creature loses all abilities until end of turn. Okay. So I block with my Merry Brandybuck equipped with Barrow Blade. And then that ability goes on the stack because it starts with whenever. In response to that, Witch King discards a card to gain indestructible. Gain indestructible would resolve first, and then loses all abilities would resolve next, and remove indestructible. Still checks out. Man alive, that is fantastic. I love it. That makes me so happy. Does that answer your question? Andy K, yo, what's up? Rob, does that work? Does that answer your question? That gives a brief history of the Barrow Blades and where they came from in the book and the movie, what they're for. And then it works against the Witch King, which is what they're for. Does that work? I think it works. Math checks out. Next card. Who's gonna give me the next one? I gotta reload the comments here because I'm all froze up. Get the old drink of beer. Get the Mirovor of Rivendell. Can't wait to see that card. Oh yeah, Bill Fernie, Shadowfax. Okay, let's do I gotta reload Scryfall here and see if anything's new? Bill Fernie was a tricky one for me because I didn't quite. Let's see here. Bill Fernie. Kind of the same. Kind of looks like the same art as what is it? Tetsuya Umezawa or whatever. This art right here. Tetsuko Umezawa Fugitive kind of reminds me of Bill Fernie. Anyways, are they even the same size? 1-3 for 2, and Bill Fernie's a 2-1 for 2. Okay. So anyways, Human Rogue, blue 1, 2-1, legendary creature Human Rogue. When Bill Fernie, Bree Swindler becomes blocked, choose 1. Okay, without even looking at anything yet, a 2-1 for 2 that when it becomes blocked, we get a benefit. This is already a good card. This is a good card in draft because you're going to want to attack with a 2-1. That's what 2-1s are for, is attacking, and when they have an extra ability, they're going to trade with a 1-2 or a 3-2. They're going to trade up, and they're going to give you something. Okay, so when he becomes blocked, create a treasure token. That's pretty good. It's fine. So he costs 1, really? He costs 1, really? Or, if he's not blocked, no, when he becomes blocked, what's going to block him? A 0 power guy? Anyways, target opponent gains control of target horse you control. If they do, remove Bill Fernie from combat and create 3 treasure tokens. So we gotta control a horse. I don't think that anybody in Draft or Sealed is ever gonna choose that one unless they have Build a Pony, which would be the ultimate flavor win. We'll talk about that in a second. We're gonna cover that in a second. Just give me a sec, yo. Okay, so Bill Ferny, it gets blocked. He dies. He trades with a guy because that's how you're going to attack with him is a profitable trade because you're going to get a treasure back and he's going to kill a guy when he attacks and they block and you're going to get a treasure back. So really, he kills a guy for 1 mana and a card. But you're going to get a treasure back, which counts maybe as half a card. So this is a good card so far. Now, if they don't block, we get 2 damage in for 2 mana. Also good. Also good because all of the previous stuff that I just said is still also true and can happen in consecutive turns. So that's good in draft or sealed or wherever you play this. I'm not sure that this is going to be your commander. Just saying. And I'm not sure Horse Tribal is going to include blue. Also just saying. Might be a green-white deck. So, if you're playing in draft or limited, and when Bill Ferny becomes blocked, target opponent gains control of target horse you control. If they do, remove Bill Ferny from combat, thereby saving him so he doesn't die, so you can live to attack and do all the stuff I just talked about again, and create 3 treasure tokens. Okay, that's freaking good. And if you control a Bill the Pony, well, if you're playing blue-white and Lord of the Rings Limited, you've already got to build a pony. You've already created 2 food tokens. You can also sacrifice a food token until end of turn. Target creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Well, you don't want to do that with Bill Ferny because he deal 1 instead of 2. But you can give away Bill the Pony and make treasure tokens. And Bill Ferny lives to see another day. This is fantastic because Bill Ferny in Bree, when the hobbits spend the night in the Prancing Pony Inn, Bill Ferny actually lets all their ponies go. And the only pony left to carry their baggage that remains is their is the old scraggly, half-starved, almost dead, mangy, not even worth 3 treasures pony that Bill has left in his stable, and he sells it for 3 times what it's worth. 3 treasures. Fantastic. And that's Bill the Pony. Sam calls it Bill as an ironic name, not to commemorate Bill Ferny, but to, what's the word? To revitalize or to reestablish who Bill is, or to give new meaning to the name Bill. He names the pony Bill, and it becomes like a major character in the next couple chapters. He goes to Rivendell with them, and Frodo rides Bill after he gets stabbed at Weathertop, and he goes all the way to the Mines of Moria with them, and he becomes a major character in the book. They have to go a different way to get to Rivendell because Bill the Pony can't get up or down the rocks. They got to go different ways. So to have Bill Ferny interact with Bill the Pony in a meaningful gameplay way is super cool. Super fantastic. I think this is the kind of thing where it shows that they're paying attention. They're paying attention. I got my Lord of the Rings text up here. I got a e-text here where we could maybe go 3 times. I wonder if that's going to show up. Let's go. Here, look at Bill Ferny's price was 12 silver pennies, and that was indeed at least 3 times the pony's value in those parts. 3 treasures. You can get 1 treasure. Oops, where are we? Don't make fun of me for my tabs. We can get 1 treasure from Bill Ferny, or we can get 3 if we give him a horse. Fantastic. Fantastic. Anyways, where are we going next? Where are we going? We did Bill the Ferny, Bill the Fernie, Bill the Pony, Fernie Bill, whatever. I'm just looking at comments here real quick. Shadowfax, I see. Barrel Blade we did. Shadowfax. Give me a sec. Israel Garcia, what's up? What did you miss? Bill Fernie and Bill the Pony. Flavor win, my lord. Wifey and I guessed he must be selling a bummed horse just from the card. Yeah, the bummed horse was Bill the Pony. It's the same horse. It's named Bill because Bill Fernie. It's fantastic. And they sold him for the right amount on the card. Oh, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. And I'm not willing to give out chef's kisses, but that's a good one. That's a good one. That is a good one. Okay, I'm going to do Shadowfax. And then I want to do Aragorn the Unifier. So much value. Prowess, Spell Slinger, Pump, and Fight. I love that we got movie-only people here. It's fantastic. Okay. Shadowfax. Lots to unpack there. Another horse, hey? Let's see here. Where is he? First of all, okay. For the movie-only people, Shadowfax, show us the meaning of haste. Oh, when Gandalf is sitting on Shadowfax in the stables in Edoras, and he's riding off into the sunset with Pippin after he looks into the Palantir, and he says, "Show us the meaning of haste." Oh, so they print this Shadowfax card, and they gave the reminder text for haste. It's literally the meaning of haste. And it shows it to you right on the card. I can be hypercritical. I can be hypercritical of other things and things that were missed or subtle nuances that aren't there. But come on. They gave us the meaning of haste. I'm choosing to be positive and focus on the frickin' awesome parts of these cards. Shadowfax, Lord of Horses. 4/4 legendary creature horse. Should have been horse noble, but it's fine that he's not. White, red, 3. Horses you control have haste. AKA, they can attack and tap as soon as they enter the battlefield under your control. Awesome. Also, when Shadowfax, Lord of Horses, attacks, you may put a creature card with lesser power from your hand onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. Most likely, this is going to go in a... You know what? I'm not even sure. Does this go in Horse Tribal? I'm not even sure that it does. Thus far, Horse Tribal has been white-green, right? With okay, well, here. Where's my EDH rec at? EDHrec.com. Let's go themes, tribes. Can we go Control F horse? Horse decks. There we go. What's happening? I don't want whatever that is. Okay. Top commanders for Horse Tribal are 5 color. Sure, because it's Morphon. I guess we got horses in lots of different colors. I would pay particular attention to the white and red ones. Crested Sunmare is good. Shieldmare is good, obviously. Are there any good ones after that? Diamond Mare, sure. Diamond Mare, sure. Carnival Hellsteed. I had 2 of those in Ravnica Sealed one time. Man, I won that one. That was a good one. I had 2 of those pre-release promo, and I opened one in a pack. Man, I beat some wholesale ass. I'll tell you that much. No, don't forget your Zodiac horse. Mirror Entity, sure. Like, there's lots of horses. I guess you could make Boros horses. Boar horse? Horos? I don't know. I suppose you could do it. I don't know. Is he supposed to inspire everybody? Because he doesn't really. Is he supposed to inspire any creature that you control? I guess, because that's what he does. Does he do that in the novel or the story? Not really. He pushes other horses to run faster and farther and longer and to endure as he does. He, I guess, tangentially inspires the people of Rohan because they know who he is, or the people of Gondor who can recognize that he's truly a noble steed and he is very much a cut above other horses. Is that represented with whenever he attacks, you can put a creature card with lesser power from your hand onto the battlefield tapped? So natively you get a 3-drop? Or like a 3-power creature? Is that good? I'm not sure it is. I suppose it's fine. And I suppose that there's going to be Boros commanders that really like this. The attacky ones, the ones that got free equips on ETB, or things like Stoneforge. When it enters the battlefield, you can search. And Winota is going to love this. This card is going to find homes. But is it exactly what I would have done for Shadowfax? No. Which is fine, because it's still Shadowfax. He still shows us the meaning of haste. Come on. And it's still a fantastic piece of art. Who did this one? Valera Lutfulina? Just going to leave that like that. I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not overwhelmed. I don't like cards like this. But I do like the card because I can see it inspiring horses to attack and be faster, aka have haste, in horse decks, whether they be Boros or 5-color, or let's say they're Naya. If they're a Naya horse deck, Shadowfax is going to go right in there. And he is going to get some work done by putting creatures onto the battlefield for free. So I do like it. I hope that answers the Shadowfax question. Or that does Shadowfax justice. Reading comments real quick. Shadowfax, your favorite legend so far? Well, tell me why, Andy. Best version of Boros attacky decks they've given us? Perhaps. I don't know. Is it? Isn't Winota? Isn't that the best one? I don't know. But this one lets you do like very mono red things, but also gives you white, which I guess makes it better. I guess you're right. I'm happy you like it. And I'm not going to say anything bad because this is the card that we're getting. I won't be critical of the art. I won't be critical of the abilities. I won't be critical of the lack of noble creature type. I'm choosing to not be critical and negative about the things that don't exist. And I should have done this again, as I've done in the past. At the start of these, I'm really not saying things like, this is what I would have done, or this would make more sense based on the story. the reality is I'm not the card designer, and I don't get to choose what cards are printed. And if I was and wanted to follow the story to a T, the draft environment and or the cards in general wouldn't be as good, because I haven't designed Magic cards for 30 years. So Shadowfax is good. He does what I think he should do for horses. And if he does that for other decks as well, fantastic. Aragorn. That's where I'm going next. And then I want to go to Bitter Downfall. And please, could you just tune into the frickin' Commander Cookout short that I did for Bitter Downfall? Because I read it and then I edited it and added music and then split it up. So I put some pauses where I wanted emphasis. And man, I almost frickin' cried. I made a piece of content that almost made me cry, okay? Because it's frickin' sad when Boromir dies. Spoiler alert. Aragorn. Let's find him. Let's find him. And I got some major things to say and think about here with Aragorn. Just got to find him. There he is. Okay, let's see all the different arts of him. Let's see the different arts of our buddy Aragorn here. I like this one. Minas Tirith in the background, hey? He's riding, what's his horse's name? It's Brego in the movies, but it's not Brego in the book. I don't remember what his name is in the book. I wonder if I can find it. Aragorn's horse. You think that's going to come up? It's not Google. Control F doesn't work like Google when you have an e-text. Good job, Ryan. I don't remember. This is the panorama one, which I think is a good panorama piece. A lot of the times with panorama pieces, you run into like one random hand sticking into the screen, or like somebody's foot, or half the sword is cut off, or whatever, right? But this is a good one. This one fits. This one fits. This one also fits. He's obviously leading a charge. He's at Minas Tirith. This is the Battle of Pelennor Fields. This is a good piece. But this is the one I want to talk about. Before we do, though, I'm going to read it. So, 5/5 human noble for red, green, white, blue. Well, get ready for half the Lord of the Rings printed on this guy. Whenever you cast a white spell, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Very good. Whenever you cast a blue spell, scry 2. Whenever you cast a red spell, Aragorn the Unifier deals 3 damage to target opponent. Whenever you cast a green spell, target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn. What I want to know is how many spells are... There's no spells that are all 4 of those colors. There's no spell that's only those 4 colors and not black, right? There's no spell. So we have to be casting spells that are 1, 2, or 3 colors. Which is fine, I guess. I think that you would... What do you do? Okay, so in the comments, people are talking about... I'm just looking here. Just reading comment. The short was brilliant. Thank you. I thought so too. Frick. It was like the least popular one this month. It's my favorite one. Punching Gavin Verhey in the face. Way more popular. Oh man, that's funny. Okay. So much value. Prowess, maybe. Spellslinger, maybe. Pump, fight. I guess any way you want. As the unifier, I would think mechanically or in terms of gameplay, you would play Aragorn any way you want, because he's gonna unify whatever kinds of strategy or whatever main strategy plus whatever backup win con or combo that you want. Like, he's going to unify your gameplays and your strategies, because he's going to give you advantages for doing whatever you do. Whatever you do, you're going to get a benefit. And scry 2 and 3 damage to target opponent, those are not like unsubstantial. Like those are major, aren't they? Get a white human token, that's fine. +4/+4, fine. That's going to get some damage in. You're going to get some blocks with those human tokens. Maybe you can sacrifice them for mana if you got like Phyrexian or Ashnod's Altar and you want to combo and do Spellslinger, and like those are fine, but scrying 2, really good. Can you imagine if Aragorn was a Storm deck? Not only do you get blue and red, you also get ramp in green. You also get removal in white. Like, this is going to be a very powerful commander. I think that Aragorn is going to see play in CEDH, in regular value decks. I think you're going to see Aragorn Scry decks, or Aragorn Burn decks, or Aragorn Soldier Human decks. I think you're going to see all those things, in addition to Aragorn, like Lord of the Rings theme decks. You're going to get such a wide arrangement or myriad of different kinds of decks that are helmed by Aragorn. I don't think that's a mistake either. I don't think that's an accident. I think that's very intentional. This is the kind of thing where they say, well, let's make it so it's going to do enough or give you enough value that you can exploit the value in competitive Commander, plus you get access to all the colors, which gives you all the protection, all the combos. Fantastic for CEDH. I love it. Also, let's make all of those abilities good enough that if you just focused on one of them, it's still good enough. Also, if you're just like, I don't care about anything, I just want to play Aragorn, it's still good enough. It's still good enough. This card, I think any way you slice it, is going to be a powerful card that we're going to see quite often. He dies to Doomblade. Yeah, well... yeah, he dies to Doomblade. Creatureless deck. Use the tokens and buff to attack. So you could play like green-white Aragorn, right? And you could make Aragorn an elf deck. Who's that was Rob. Green-white Aragorn elf, or Aragorn like populate. Aragorn human tribal, right? You could do any of those things and make it be good. Loving the options. Spellslinger deck in 4 colors. So it's an Izzet deck that's got better ramp and better removal. Fantastic. My bone to pick with this exact art of Aragorn on the screen. This is the one with the showcase ring treatment with the with the ring text around the art. So it's got Aragorn sitting like on a mound or a rock or something, and he's obviously got Andúril reforged. So he's sitting there with his sword. And in the background on a mountain appears to be the white tree of Gondor. It looks like a little sapling of the tree of Gondor on a mountain. And I'm not sure. And I very much asked Dominic Meyer on Twitter whether or where the art direction put him, or what is being depicted here. And I've come up with a few scenarios. I'm thinking that maybe this is all the way at the end of the story when Aragorn is up in the mountains with Gandalf and finds a sapling of the white tree. And he finds a new one and he's overcome with emotion. But I'm not sure that that's it. Then I think, okay, is he sitting outside the Black Gate and he can see Mount Doom erupting, and that's not actually the white tree, it's actually like Mount Doom erupting? I don't think so, hey? Like, what's the significance of the ring around the white tree? Like those are the two things I've come up with, and I can't really put my finger on what it is. See ya, Israel. I'm not sure. Rob, no, it's not before Andúril, because this card set is based on the book. Aragorn doesn't have a full sword until he has Andúril reforged. And that's obviously a full sword there. I'm waiting to hear back. And without opening my Twitter on the screen, I'm going to see if I heard back right here on my phone. And I didn't. I don't know when it is. Don't know. That's still... He's holding Andúril. He is. That it has to be. The other two arts are both from the Battle of the Pelennor Fields, both in the scene panorama scene art, and in the regular art. That's the Battle of Pelennor Fields. We know this because you can see Minas Tirith behind him, and he's got a big ass sword there. Now, judging on the other two arts, that doesn't confirm that this art is the Battle of Pelennor Fields, but in the book, he doesn't have Andúril until, or he gets Andúril way early, before they even leave Rivendell. And the only other time, okay, so I'm thinking when they leave Rivendell, before the quest begins, Aragorn is sitting with his head between his knees, not wanting to go. That could be a time. This could be after Gandalf falls down the pit in Khazad-dûm, and Aragorn's upset, but he becomes the leader now. Is that what this is referencing? Is he unifying the Fellowship? Is that what this is? Is this after Boromir dies? I don't think so, because they're not surrounded by forest. They're not by Parth Galen, and it's not forest and water, and the scenery is wrong for that. Where else does he unify people? Helm's Deep? When he rides out to meet Erkenbrand? Erkenbrand! It's different in the movies. It's Éomer. Scenery's wrong for that too. Oh, man, I don't know when this is. And that white tree or that mountain thing in the background is really making me think like this is Pelennor Fields, or this is Black Gate, or this is all the way at the end of the story when he should be unifying the peoples of Middle-earth in the Fourth Age, and he finds the sapling of the white tree. That's when I think that this is. And I can't quite put my finger on which one of those I think it is. So I guess time will tell. I'll get my response in a little bit. Listen, I'm going to do one more card. Any suggestions? I think if everybody's tuning into a Lord of the Rings live stream, they've probably seen all the cards. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to get a drink of beer. Somebody give me one more card response. We'll talk about it. Give me some comments. Rob, you're still on Andúril, hey? Okay, let's look at it. Let's see. Where is it? Do we have the Anduril card? We've got Press the Enemy. That's Anduril in that card. Forge Anew. That's Anduril. Oh, yeah, I haven't seen this one yet. Gollum's Bite. Let's check this out. Gollum's Bite. Oh, this one he bites Frodo's finger off. Isn't it? Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. Black instant. This is good in draft. It's too bad it's an uncommon, but it's got a second ability. That's why. Black 3. Exile Gollum's Bite from your graveyard. The ring tempts you. Activate only as a sorcery. Oh, that's fine. I don't know if that's worth an uncommon. Yeah, it is. It's the second ability. Let's read the flavor text. It was pity that stayed Bilbo's hand. Oh, here we go. Do not be eager to deal out death in judgment. Gollum has some part to play yet before the end. That's not the whole quote, but maybe we'll do a flavor text expansion on that one, hey? Because that's a good one. Look at, you can see the outline of Frodo. I love that you can still a little bit see him. The ring doesn't grant complete invisibility, especially not at high noon. You can still see outlines of people. That's fantastic. There's Bitter Downfall. Oh, we were supposed to talk about Bitter Downfall, weren't we? No, we were looking for Anduril. Holy smokes, Ryan. One at a time. Jesus. Do I got to do 2 cards? Boromir. That's 3. Maybe the art isn't the... No card revealed yet. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's leave it at that then. The Anduril is in the Aragorn art as of now. Bitter Downfall. Oh, man. I think this part in the Peter Jackson film... You know what the Ralph Bakshi film too. 1978 Ralph Bakshi film. Fucking terrifying, by the way, if you've never seen. Don't recommend watching with your children. I saw it when I was a kid. Would not recommend. Bitter Downfall, the part where Boromir gets shot with a bunch of orc arrows, I think the movie does that part more justice, or justice over and above any single other part where the movie does justice over the book. The gap between the book and the movie in this part is greater than the gap between the book and the movie in any other part. I think this is the strongest scene in the movie compared to the book. I'm not sure if it's the strongest scene in the movie, but it's certainly the strongest scene in the movie compared to the scene in the book. Bitter Downfall. This is when Boromir falls defending Merry and Pippin after he feels the guilt of trying to take the ring from Frodo. This is a major, major developmental point in Boromir's plot, and it comes at the end of his plot. And it's sad and it's tragic, and this part in particular is one of the main contributing factors that I think that the Lord of the Rings could be considered a tragedy, because Boromir is so valiant and so provincial and so articulate and so polite and so by the book, and the movies do him bad. The movies do him dirty. He is such a great man and a great character, and he has the final lapse in character after a lifetime of struggling to defend a nation, or to inherit a nation from his dad Denethor, that has constantly been under siege and under attack for the entirety of his life. And he has the final straw. It's the straw that broke his back, where the ring is just going to move outside of his grasp, because Frodo's going to go through the Emyn Muil, and Aragorn and Boromir are going to go to Minas Tirith, and he thinks the ring is going to slip away, and his entire life is boiled down into one conversation with Frodo, and he has that momentary lapse in character where otherwise he's valiant and noble and provincial and like cares about his country above anything else. Anything else. He cares about his country and defending it and honoring it more than anything else. And time over time after time, he's proven to be polite, well-spoken, well-mannered. He recognizes and acknowledges that he's not the leader of the company and interjects politely and professionally. He is a true professional soldier and a professional leader and acts like a professional when he's not the leader. There's nothing bad to say about Boromir until the one instance where he has one conversation with Frodo with a lifetime of boiling over or reaching the boiling point, finally tips the or boils the kettle or whatever, straw that breaks the camel's back, and he has that lapse in character and tries to take the ring or steal the ring or whatever, right? And that leads to the guilt that he feels from that, which then turns back into this mini redemption arc that he needs to have by saving Merry and Pippin and sacrificing his life for the lives of others in his fellowship. And the lives of others could have been Frodo's, the ring bearers, the reason that he's even there, right? The reason that he's exactly where he is, the providence that he is where he is. He's giving himself up for that. And it's not even Frodo that he's giving himself up for. And he redeems himself. And it's almost like after the bitter downfall, after he's pierced by many black feathered arrows, he tells Aragorn that he failed. And he goes through like this little, it's like this little confessional that he goes through where he admits that he did wrong to Aragorn. He not to Aragorn did he do wrong, but he admits that he did wrong to Aragorn. And he apologizes to Aragorn. And this apology to Aragorn is like the first instance that Boromir is acknowledging him as his king, where he says, "I'm sorry, I did wrong for Gondor." And that's like the not the tipping point, but that's like a major part where the captain of Gondor's army is acknowledging that this other person that I travel with, that I'm a comrade with, the person that I love, that I want to be my king, that he did wrong, right? So he admits that he does wrong, he apologizes, and through giving his life to defend Merry and Pippin, he demonstrates that he is redeeming himself. And he has this whole mini, it's only a few pages or whatever it is, this little mini redemption arc that really solidifies that he is really I don't want to call him the ideal man or the ideal person or the ideal character in Tolkien, because that's supposed to be Aragorn. But Boromir comes frickin' close, man. I'm telling you. I think after, like a decade or longer, a lifetime of reading and studying and learning about Tolkien and themes and chivalry and just everything that is wrapped up in Tolkien, Boromir is got to be one of the major characters that we can take and dig into what he does and learn from what he does. And the movies do him dirty. Boromir and Faramir get done dirty in the movies, I'm telling you, because they are far more than that when you go in between the lines. And if you haven't read the novels, I would highly encourage you to read the novels. Of course, 2 or 3 times a year, 4 times a year. And really pay attention to Boromir whenever he speaks. When you're reading, whenever Boromir speaks, Really pay attention to how he speaks and what he says and how he does it, right? Anyways, that's Bitter Downfall. That's Boromir. Ralph Bakshi, Secret Lair. Can't wait. I might lose a bet to Brando. Reading comments. So heart-wrenching. Yeah. Not the most heart-wrenching part of The Lord of the Rings, I don't think. Maybe it is. In terms of being sad. I get sad when Boromir dies. I think I do. I get sad when Boromir dies. I get sad. I get sad when Frodo leaves. When else do I get sad? I get sad for Merry when King Theoden dies. I get sad when Bilbo gets old and doesn't remember and falls asleep. Reminds me of my dad and my grandpa. Ugh. Lord of the Rings gets harder and harder for me to read every time I read it, because every time I read it, I find new meaning in it as I age and as I become a dad and as I go through life, right? And every time I read The Lord of the Rings, Bilbo reminds me more and more and more of my dad, right? And there's going to be a day, I know it. There's going to be a day where it's hard for me to read through the Bilbo parts, because it's just going to be my dad and he's not going to be here anymore, right? So cross that bridge when we come to it. The power of the ring's corruption. Yeah, over the perfect soldier, right? Like, and I hate to boil Boromir down to the perfect soldier, because probably Faramir is the perfect soldier because he's not tempted by the ring. But Boromir's a better soldier than Faramir. He's a better fighter. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's smarter, he's more valiant. He's a better leader, right? Oh man, the Boromir-Faramir dichotomy and the ring tempting them dichotomy will take 100 years or none at all. And at an hour and a half in, I'm going to give it the none at all. Maybe that'll be next week. We'll talk about that. Yeah, Boromir, human. He is a human. He's a man, right? And he falls victim to the gift of man, the doom of man, wanting to be more than he is and have no time, right? The doom of man. Google that. Tolkien, Doom of Man. I think that's going to be it. If I could talk about Bilbo and Boromir anymore, I'm going to lose my shit. I think that was good, though, wasn't it? We covered a few cards. I don't know if we're going to cover every single card like this, but I would love to if people wanted to tune into that kind of stuff. And I know that the podcasts, like when I convert these into the audio-only form, people download them every week, and I hope that they enjoy them. I cut out the little bits of silence, so if you're watching the live stream, you get the silence. If you're listening to the podcast, you don't. To each their own. Listen and intake and view however you want. All I ask is, if you do appreciate it, that you do subscribe on YouTube. You do share the show, of course. If you want to support the show, patreon.com/CCO podcast or coffee.com/Commander Cookout. Likes, shares, subscribes, always free. Command Fest Edmonton coming up. I was trying to think, what am I supposed to say? Command Fest Edmonton, June 16 to 18. I've got at least one box of set boosters. Uncle Brando's got at least one collector box being donated for the channel to do a Brando's box opening. That'll be a ton of fun. And again, that's going to be on YouTube probably the week after Command Fest. So like between the 19th and the 23rd, that'll be up probably. And man alive, it's going to be fantastic. I hope to get a collector box in Edmonton when I'm there. If you're watching or listening and want to come to Command Fest, don't forget to use CCO code to get your Command Fest package when you buy like your package with your vouchers and your bag and all your swag and stuff. code CCO. Get you a discount, get you a free gift. The CCO summer line is going to launch there. I'm going to have hats and shirts and stickers and play mats and the whole nine. It's going to all be there. We're going to be jamming games. I've got all the new planes coming. They're meeting me there. We're going to do box openings and planes, and there's a Commander Cookout specific two-headed giant event that me and Brando are going to be playing in. All of that stuff is going to be so fantastically fun. And of course, not officially an after party, but wherever we go, there's certainly going to be some beer. So if you're in the Western Canadian area, June 16 to 18, be there or be square. Uncle Brando will tell you that is a threat. You're going or else. So with all that, everybody, CCO Podcast on Twitter, CCO Podcast on Facebook.